It has been over 13 years since Libya's leader Muammar Gaddafi was executed by his own people. Yet his name and extravagant lifestyle continue to fascinate many. Known for being surrounded by beautiful female bodyguards, Gaddafi kept his wife hidden from the public eye for over 40 years. While he indulged in countless affairs, she endured in silence. But what happened to her after his death? Where is she now? And what do we really know about the women who guarded Gaddafi and their true role in his life? Muammar Gaddafi ruled Libya for 42 years, from 1969 to 2011. He was a dictator who tolerated no competition, ensuring that he remained the central figure in Libyan politics. Charismatic yet ruthless, feared yet admired, Gaddafi built a cult of personality, ensuring that no one in Libya could shine brighter than him. Coming from a Bedouin background, he remained deeply tied to his roots. One of his most eccentric traits was his insistence on living in a tent, even during foreign visits. He famously pitched his luxury tent in the gardens of the Élysée Palace in France, in a park near Rome, and even attempted to set it up in New York during a United Nations visit. His clothing choices were equally extravagant. Flowing robes adorned with elaborate patterns, military uniforms covered in medals he never earned, and traditional African attire, all designed to keep him in the spotlight and project his larger-than-life persona. Gaddafi thrived on attention, delivering long, fiery speeches while ensuring absolute control over Libya. His rule, however, came at a great cost, with dissent ruthlessly crushed and opposition silenced. One of his most striking peculiarities was his reliance on women for personal security. Known as the Amazonian Guard, these impeccably dressed and rigorously trained women were always by his side, sparking endless rumors about their roles. Were they merely bodyguards, or something more? Yet, in the shadows of these glamorous figures stood another woman who played a far more significant role in his life. His wife, Safia Farkash Gaddafi. Unlike the highly visible Amazons, Safia remained out of the public eye, dedicating 41 years to their marriage, raising their 7 children, and staying loyal until the very end. The mysterious wife of Gaddafi. Safia Farkash lived a life shrouded in secrecy. While her husband dominated the spotlight, she avoided public and political affairs, rarely attending official events or accompanying him on international trips. So complete was her absence that finding photographs of them together proved almost impossible. Only after Gaddafi's downfall did a few family photos surface, hinting at a private life kept deliberately hidden. Despite Gaddafi's well-known obsession with beautiful women and his numerous alleged affairs, he remained married to Safia. But why? Who was this enigmatic woman who endured his excesses and eccentricities for over 4 decades? A love story or a strategic union? Gaddafi's first marriage in 1969 was short-lived. He married Fatiha al-Nuri, with whom he had one son, Mohammed. Their relationship was strained and they divorced within a year. Shortly after, he met Safia Farkash under unusual circumstances. In 1969, after rising to power, he was hospitalized for appendicitis. Safia, a nurse, cared for him during his stay, and Gaddafi later claimed it was love at first sight. They married in 1970, forming a partnership that lasted until his death. The origins of Safia Farkash remain debated. Some claim she had Croatian or Hungarian heritage, with her surname Farkash meaning wolf in Hungarian. Others insist she was Libyan, born in the city of Beda and belonging to the Barassa tribe. Regardless of her background, she became a central figure in Gaddafi's personal life. The wealth and power of Safia Farkash. Despite her preference for a low profile, Safia was far from a passive figure. She was an incredibly wealthy and influential woman, playing a significant role behind the scenes. She owned Burak Air, a private airline operating out of Tripoli, which monopolized the transport of Libyan pilgrims during the Hajj season. Her fortune was estimated to be as high as $30 billion during Gaddafi's rule, with some reports suggesting she personally controlled 20 tons of gold. Although rarely seen in public, she occasionally attended important events, such as the graduation of female police students in 2010, and celebrations marking Gaddafi's rise to power. In 2008, she was even elected vice president of the African First Ladies Organization, despite never actively participating in its activities. Her immense wealth and influence made her a formidable figure behind the scenes. The Gaddafi children and their notorious lifestyles. Safia and Gaddafi had 7 biological children, 6 sons and 1 daughter, along with 2 adopted children. They were not just his offspring, but symbols of his regime, wielding enormous power and influence. However, their behavior and privileged lifestyles often fueled resentment among the Libyan people. Several of Gaddafi's sons became infamous for their extravagant spending and scandals. Saif al-Islam, once considered Gaddafi's successor, studied in London and portrayed himself as a reformer, but his reputation was tarnished by accusations of corruption and human rights abuses. Hannibal Gaddafi was notorious for violent altercations and high-profile scandals in Europe. Muammar Gaddafi, the national security advisor, held significant power, but contributed to the public perception of the family as corrupt and self-serving. The role of the Amazonian Guard. Gaddafi's female bodyguards were officially presented as a symbol of his commitment to women's rights. He claimed to have elevated women to equal status with men by allowing them to serve in the military. The Amazonian Guard was carefully selected and rigorously trained, with their loyalty supposedly beyond question. In 1998, one Amazon took bullets for Gaddafi during an assassination attempt, sacrificing her life for him. However, behind closed doors, the reality of the Amazonian Guard was far darker than Gaddafi's propaganda suggested. Many women who joined believing in his vision later found themselves trapped in a system that exploited them. Life after Gaddafi's fall. When Gaddafi's regime collapsed in 2011,